Right, testing, test. All right, testing, testing. Let's start with an audio check. All right, we're good in that regard. Now let's just get these nice settings up. Best lap. Okay, looks like we're good here. Okay, we are live. Welcome, everybody, to Breakout Racing League Xbox One. We got another great league race for you today. It is Thursday, which means it is time for our Realistic League. Yeah, we do a tier on realistic performance here in BRL. It's separate from the rest of our tiers. Tier 1 through Tier 5 are all equal performance, but this is a little special thing we do by popular demand. And yeah, so it's realistic performance cars today. We'll be doing full qualifying, 50% length race. And again, all the cars are realistic, which means the Williams that we're currently watching now of Joe F1 will be one of the slowest cars on track. So Joe, he is an excellent driver. He's currently the championship leader in Xbox Tier 3, but he's going to have a hard time getting anywhere close to the front today in that shite box of a Williams FW43, as it is still the slowest car in the game before and after the performance patch. But in our Q1 session here today, we will be seeing him as the first qualifying lap time. I'm joined in the booth today by Chandler, our regular Realistic League co-commentator. Say hello, Chandler.
Hello, everyone. Very epic.
Yes, indeed. So, yeah, we'll be using Joe's lap here to just take you around a quick tour around the Spa circuit. It's the longest track on the calendar, hosting round 11 of our Realistic League series today. It should be a good one. Last week at Hungary, it was a very exciting race. It was ABR Baraps 19 in the Red Bull that won that one. And behind him was Taylor Clan in the Mercedes. He's currently the championship leader. He finished second in that race. And Boss Cookie in the McLaren was able to scrape home in P3 despite having a slower car. Currently in the driver standings, Taylor Clan, as I mentioned before, is the championship leader with 169 points, 28 points ahead of Baraps 19. And now Joe's lap is starting, so we're going to go on board and take you around the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. Coming into turn 1 here, this is the La Sauce hairpin, second gear, sometimes first gear. Very difficult to avoid wheel spin on the exit as it's downhill, a lot of curbing on the outside. Looks like Joe's getting a good run here. You're going to be 8th gear by the time you get to the infamous Eau Rouge corner. Take a little curb on the inside, switch back to the right. Little curb again as you go up over Radion, and he is onto the Kemmel straight now. Looks like he's carrying plenty of speed, up to 200 miles an hour here in qualifying trim. The average setup uses 2.5, 3.5, 2.4 wings, something like that. Now into the Les Combes chicane, little lockup from Joe there. Very steady so far through Malmedy and now down the hill again. Plenty of elevation change in the circuit, almost the most on the entire calendar. Now he goes through Rivage, nice right-hander, very easy to lock up and understeer wide, but Joe is taking it with ease despite the shitty car that he's dealing with. Oh, excuse my language. Now he goes through the left-hander with no name and another ferocious left-hander, Pouon. Double apex corner here. If you go wide or you go on the inside curb, then you are done. You have spun. Do not want to pull an Antonio Giovinazzi through there, if you recall the real-life race in 2019. Now through the Fagnes chicane, a little lock up on the entry from Joe, but he's keeping going in the right direction. Now through Stavolo 1, the last corner before the back straight, and he spun! Ooh, yeah. That's going to ruin Joe's lap without a doubt, and that's going to add to his woes.
That is not good. That was a set of tires already on now. And if you went...
Yeah, it looks like...
If you went balanced...
Yeah, he has front wing damage.
Went balanced, he's only got 2 sets of softs left for Q1, and maybe Q2 if you pull that car into Q2.
Yeah, he's definitely not pulling it into Q3. His disadvantage with the machinery is just too much, I'm sure. But yeah, Joe's going to pull back into the pits, and he will not set the first flying lap time of the session. Let's go to someone else. Sink Kiswato in the Alfa Romeo is approaching the line now. Is he the first one? No. There's a Racing Point leading the way. It looks like... Is one of the Racing Points? No, it's a Renault. It's Mean Fern. No, Mean Fern's on an out lap. Yeah, I'm not sure who the leading car here is on a flying lap. I think it might be Sink Kiswato after all. Yep, it is Sink in the Alfa Romeo car. Currently the 8th fastest car on the grid. It recently got a nerf due to the nerf of all the Ferrari power cars in the performance patch, but he still manages to set a 1 minute 46 dead, and that is what all the other cars are going to have to be aiming for. Let's see who can come across the line to beat that first. And Ritzy Raccoon in the Renault. Oh, I'm sorry. Looks like our... spectator menu is glitching a bit here, but Ritzy Raccoon in the Renault has beaten that time by a splendid margin. 143.665. That is an absolutely roaring lap.
It's a
Not very
43.6 in the Renault is a pretty good lap for Q1. That I was not expecting that from him, but that could be enough to get him into Q2 alone.
Yeah, that's what a Tier 4 or a Tier 5 driver might do in a multiplayer car, which is basically the equivalent of a Mercedes. So, yeah, that is a very good lap. SSR Zampa goes third fastest in the Haas, 45.2. That's going to blow Sink Kiswato out of the water. And VRF1 Wyborn, pretty disappointing lap in the Red Bull, only a 144.3. So he's behind the Renault of Ritzy, but he's on the medium compound tire. Now, keep in mind, folks, tire strategy in qualifying does not quite come into play until Q2, as Aus Formula, our second Ferrari driver, has joined the session a little bit late. Of course, Chandler here is the Realistic League manager of Ferrari, so I'm sure he'll be happy to see that. But yeah, Q2 is when the starting tires for the top 10 are decided. So if you're in Q2 and you get into Q3, then you have to start the race on the exact same set of tires that you did your fastest Q2 lap on. And if you do your fastest Q2 lap on the softs, then of course, you're more likely to get into Q3 because the softs have more outright pace, but they wear away a lot faster in the race. They're not as good of a race tire. But if you can pull the medium gamble and get into the top 10 on medium tires, as Wyborn sets a purple second sector, looks like he's going straight from one lap to another here. If you can get in on the mediums, then you're at a pretty big advantage, because the mediums can go almost half the race at this track, usually about 9, 10, 11 laps. But yeah, we continue to watch Wyborn here as he goes through his flying lap, his second flying lap. Now into the bus stop chicane, looking very smooth indeed. Oh, he's pulling into the pits. He was on an end lap there. He was pushing pretty hard for the end lap, to be fair.
Yeah.
Deer Hunter in the Williams, meanwhile, is the first Williams car to register a lap time with a 146.4. Just 4/10 behind Kiswato in the Alfa Romeo. That is about the delta between the Williams and the Alfa in this game, it must be said, as ARS Sainz in the McLaren sets quite a good time of a 143.4. And who else is currently on a flying lap? The other McLaren of Boss Cookie appears to be... All right, looks like my spectator menu is frozen, so we're going to have to use the old-fashioned method of scrolling through menus. But yeah, it looks like Boss Cookie is on a flying lap. Apologies for this right trigger use.
This is actually...
coming through the no-name corner.
This is actually second lap on these tires. He invalidated his first lap, but it looks like he put in enough fuel to put in a second lap. So these tires don't have a little bit of wear on them.
BRF1 Hamilton is in the chat. He's saying, "How did he not die?" I'm guessing this message seemed pretty old. I'm guessing he's referring to Joe's binning it in Stavolo. Yeah, we don't have simulation damage on here. I can't remember if it's full or reduced, but it's definitely not simulation. So he can survive a tap like that. Actually, Boss Cookie's on a good lap here. He's setting a purple middle sector. We know he can outperform that McLaren car. He's currently sitting third in the driver's standings. He's gotten a win, a second-place finish, and 3 third-place finishes in the 10 rounds that we've done so far, despite the fact that he is only in the third, fourth, fifth fastest car. So, some very impressive performances from him, and he's going to go fastest, ahead of his teammate by 3/10. That's an excellent lap from Boss Cookie. That should put him solidly into Q2. We don't really have a clear idea of what the drop zone looks like yet, as Joe F1 is on another flying lap, among others. Yeah, we don't have a solid idea of what the drop zone looks like yet, because keep in mind, only the bottom 5 will be eliminated in Q1. And we have 8 drivers that haven't even set a lap time yet anyway. The driver that is trying to set a lap time, though, is Taylor Clan in the Mercedes, the championship leader. This is one to watch. He's coming into the bus stop chicane now just to finish his lap. I wish we could have gone on board with him a little bit earlier, but it is what it is, as my spectator menu is still frozen, unfortunately. And Taylor Clan looks like he's going to go fastest. Yes, a 142.1, a second faster than the previous time. That just shows the delta between the Mercedes, the Red Bull, the top cars, and the midfield. It's like in real life. Again, this is the realistic league, so that is the point of it. And now we've got 16 cars to set lap times each so far. SF1 Rhodes has the slowest time now in the Alfa Romeo of a 147.3. I'm sure we'll be looking to improve that later in the session. Brownbeaner in the AlphaTauri is also finishing his flying lap. What is it with us going on board with people right as they're finishing their laps? It's a bit unfortunate, but indeed, Beaner is finishing his lap, and he goes slowest. It's a 149.6. That is a real banker of a time.
Yeah, I want to see...
The thing about Spa... Go ahead, sorry.
The lap might have been the lap that he backed off on.
True. The thing about Spa is that because it's the longest track with some of the highest lap times, it's a very unique challenge in qualifying because, on most tracks you get 3, maybe even 4 flying laps in an 18-minute session. But here it's more like only 2 runs, because it takes you about 6 minutes total to do an out lap, a flying lap, and an in lap. Sometimes more if you make a mistake, or if you're running out of fuel. So it is a unique challenge here. They have to get it much better.
There is no waiting around in the pits at all, even for just doing 3 runs. There's no waiting. You just got to keep
Consistency
moving.
is key here. Yeah, Aus Formula in the Ferrari currently on a flying lap. He's just coming into late comp, so finally we will get to ride on board with a relatively full flying lap here, as the late joiner to this session is trying to set his first lap. As his name implies, he is from the country of Australia. He's driving the Italian car here today. Ferrari was recently nerfed in the performance patch, so you should keep that in mind. The Ferrari is no longer the 3rd fastest car overall and the fastest car in a straight line. It is, they've really upped the drag on this car, Codemasters have, so it's going to be more like the 5th or 6th fastest car. It's about the same level now as the McLaren or the Renault. As a whole car, as Boss Cookie retires with his very good lap time of 1:43.1. We're going to see a lot of guys retiring from the session here because they're satisfied with their times and don't want to just be hanging around in the garage. Now with about 7 minutes left in the session, it looks like, yeah, anyone who's in the pits right now is only going to have 1 more shot at a flying lap, maybe 2 more shots if they go out now and fuel the car a bit more. We have seen a few people, as Taylor retires, we have seen a few people go out on the mediums and try and do a banker lap that way. Chandler, tell me, is there really that much of an advantage of doing Q1 on mediums? Because there is no bearing on strategy in this session.
I would say,
as Lost Formula sets the second
I would say
time.
If you went balance, yes, just get the mediums out of the way. I would have went softer on balance, because if you ended up needing to do 2 soft, it probably would have been 2 soft tires and medium. So to just get the medium tire out of the way now, I'd say is the better option if you can. But you could also qualify on them in Q2, and if you get through, you're most likely set still to keep DRS, because it's not that hard to keep DRS to with the slipstream also. Either strategy works, honestly.
That is true. DRS in some ways, DRS, slipstream, low down for straight line speed, it does matter a lot more than tires, just because sectors 1 and 3 are mostly huge straights. Those are the best overtaking opportunities, so some of these guys might be willing to compromise their mediums in qualifying. And a clear drop zone is now starting to form in Q1. Sink Kiswato and the Alfa Romeo, both Alfa Romeos actually, Kiswato and Rhodes, are both in the danger zone right now in 16th and 18th respectively. Unknown Ute in the Haas is currently on a flying lap. He's trying to get out of 17th place, and then the 2 AlphaTauris are both in the drop zone now as well, Brown Beaner and New Zealand Ryan. New Zealand Ryan in the AlphaTauri, he is of course one of the best controller players on the face of the earth, really. He's been playing F1 for a while, and he's just known for squeezing everything out of the car on a somewhat compromised method of control, that being the controller. But yeah, he hasn't actually set a flying lap time yet. Maybe he's just waiting until the end, saving his tires. But it basically means it is going to be 1 shot for him to get into Q2.
Yeah,
his teammate Brown Beaner is on an out lap right now.
Yeah, that's generally what Ryan does. He always seems to just put in 1 lap at the very end.
Unknown Ute has spun it and Pouon. He's done the exact same thing that Giovinazzi did in Spa last year, except he's kept it out of the wall, and I think that's going to be the end of his qualifying unless he can just hightail it back to the pits and get on a new set of tires.
Yeah, there's a chance he gets it back in. Of course, everyone's in the pits, bar a few people, because we're in a session, but I think he'll be able to get in and go out again. It should be time.
Yeah, I'd agree. Joe F1, despite having binned it on his first flying lap of the session, he is currently out of the drop zone right now. He's in 14th place, just ahead of his teammate Deer Hunter. So if we see both Williams cars in Q2, that would be very impressive. Because, of course, in real life, that's only happened once this year, back at the Hungarian Grand Prix, of course, Hungary being a much more technical circuit. But funny thing about this game, it really does flatter the Williams car when it comes to straight line speed, because in actuality, it is only about as fast as, say, the AlphaTauri or another car with a slower engine, because it's draggy, it's super draggy, and that impairs it on the straights. But in this game, that's not quite so pronounced. Big Harry Jocks in the chat saying, all right, guys. I hope you do stay tuned here. We've got 17 viewers so far. Very nice. We've currently got 617 followers on the stream. You can become our 618th if you're watching this right now and have not yet hit that heart button. Please do if you'd like. If you enjoy our content, every little bit helps. And it looks like Brown Beaner is on a fairly solid lap so far, just coming through Malmedy and into Rivage now. Trying to improve on his extremely banker time of 1 minute 49.601. And the only two cars here, as we see the best lap tire graphic, only two cars, Wyborn and num1 FinFan, have gone for the strat of saving their soft tires for Q2 and Q3 and just going out in Q1 on mediums. So it really is all about when you want to use those medium tires. Do you want to save them as a fresh set for the race, just don't touch them? Or do you want to use them in Q1 to save your soft tires for the other sessions? Or do you want to use them in Q2 and start the race on them? As there's a purple middle sector from Brownbeaner. That is a huge surprise. Maybe it's just a game glitch.
It could be a game glitch, but regardless, that looked like a really good middle sector split anyway, so
yeah.
He is
the
on
game
a good
is
lap.
liberal with giving out purple middle sectors, but he is coming up to the bus stop now, and he is looking very fast. He's got 1:35 on the clock so far as he comes into the bus stop chicane, locks up a little bit. Now coming out of the corner, what's it going to be? It's not going to be the fastest lap, that's for sure, but it is fourth fastest.
That's a good time. That
is a monstrous lap.
That'll definitely see him through, yeah.
And AlphaTauri, fourth fastest, only behind the top three in the championship. Well done to Brownbeaner. Wow. He could use a good result. Today he's currently sitting in 14th in the Drivers' Championship, although to be fair to him, he did not actually join this championship until round 5 at Baku. So far in his 6 starts, with his, in this realistic league, he's gotten a 5th place, a retirement, he's missed 2 races, and he's finished out of the points twice, so he only has 16 points to his name right now.
Most recent driver on a lap seems to be Haas Formula again.
Wyborn as well, he's improved from 12th, or 13th actually, up to 8th on the medium tire, so he's clearly hell-bent on saving those soft tires and giving himself little security at the same time, but the Red Bull is more than capable of getting into Q2 on those slower tires, no doubt about it. It is the second fastest car on the grid, even if it is a bit weaker in the engine department than the Mercedes or even the Renault cars. Haas Formula also on a flying lap, but let's look at someone in the drop zone. Deer Hunter has been knocked out by that Titanic lap from Brownbeaner. Zampa's just coming up to the line now on the Haas, and he's improved by half a second. But he has not improved his position. He's still 14th. So Zampa does not have time to set another lap, as he goes very wide at La Source, just putting the nail in the coffin for any other laps. Yeah, he's not going to be back out there, so he is at the mercy of his competitors now. As Zizou MX in the Racing Point, he's had a pretty disappointing lap in his first stint, 1:44.2. Considering the Racing Point is now the 3rd fastest car in the game, no doubt about it. But he is coming up to the line now, and he looks to have improved quite significantly in the first 2 sectors. He comes up to the line. What's he going to do? It's going to be a 1:44.0, improving up from 13th to 10th. Very well done from him. BRL Phantom also in the Mercedes. He's on his final flying lap, it would appear, as Wyborn retires from 9th place. He's on his final flying lap in the Mercedes, and I'm very surprised to see him this far down, especially considering he is running the soft tires. So if Phantom gets eliminated in Q1, he really has no excuses whatsoever. Let's hope that doesn't happen. And New Zealand Ryan, the legendary controller player, has finally come out of his hidey hole in the AlphaTauri garage, and he's on a flying lap as well. Let's look at him. The guy currently running in last by default due to the fact that he's not yet set a time. He's in the Fanya chicane right now. We'll come back to BRL Phantom's lap time when we see his middle sector. Ryan's middle sector as Brownbeaner retires from P5.
Unknown You and Kizuto, they are both...
Purple middle sector. New Zealand Ryan, purple middle sector, beating his teammates. Very good indeed. Let's switch back to Phantom here, see what his middle sector split's going to look like. He's coming through Fanyas now and into Stavolo. Pushing the car quite a bit, and he invalidates. He's gone wide at Stavolo. He's invalidated his time.
He's invalidated, but he has Unknown You and Kizuto. They've both invalidated their lap, so they will not be out.
Unknown You hasn't been validated. Yeah, he's still very vulnerable, though. Deer Hunter's now coming up to the line, and he's improved on his time by quite a bit. But he's going to need... No, he's going to have to pull 1.5 seconds out of the bag, and he's only got 2.5 tenths right now. So I don't think Deer Hunter is going to be a threat to Phantom, but he has been knocked down to 14th. We'll see. Deer Hunter improves his time, but not his position. He's going to remain 17th. Can Joe F1? No, he's already invalidated. So, our eliminations in Q1, very unsurprising. Similar to real life. A Haas, 2 Alfa Romeos, and 2 Williamses. Joe F1 will be starting 16th. His teammate Deer Hunter in P17. Unknown You will be in 18th for Haas, while his teammate Zampa just scrapes through to Q2 and 15th. Cinquezuato in 19th, and SF1 Rhodes in 20th. A really abysmal performance for Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, you can't really blame them though with that Ferrari engine being
Ryan,
hurt.
wait a minute. New Zealand Ryan went third fastest.
Yeah, he put up a lap just as good as his teammates did. Actually, only a 10th faster than his teammates, so considering how good Ryan is, that just shows how good of a lap his teammate did.
Yeah, you could say New Zealand Ryan is kind of the Pierre Gasly of this league, as he's just constantly outperforming his car. He's currently 5th in the driver's standings, despite having only the 7th fastest car. He's got 78 points right now, despite not even starting the first 2 rounds of the season. So very impressive stuff from him. Again, this is your running order at the end of qualifying 1. Some of these guys may have preserved their tire supply a bit better than others. We'll have to see how that pans out in Q2 and Q3, but these are your eliminations. Again, Joe F1, Deer Hunter, Unknown Ute, Cinquezuato, and SF1 Rhodes will be taking no further part in qualifying. So, Chandler, now that we're done with Q1, who do you think is particularly vulnerable for the drop zone in Q2, judging by what we've seen?
Well, Phantom, obviously, he's struggling in that Mercedes. And even though it's the Mercedes best car on the grid, I think he's at risk. Zampa in that he's really just the lucky one.
Zampa's screwed.
Yeah, he's the lucky one of the lower 6 to make it through. There's always going to be one out of those bottom 3 teams that makes it through. He was the lucky one this time, but I don't think he'll be going through. After that, everything's up to play for after those 2, I think.
Yeah, a reminder about the Constructors' Championship. Currently, Red Bull leads the standings with 251 points, followed by Mercedes with 227 points. Ferrari are in third with 112 points, but they're probably going to drop a bit further down now that they've been nerfed. They're currently tied for third, actually, with McLaren, 112 points apiece. Just behind them is AlphaTauri in fifth with 106 points. They're 1 point ahead of Renault, who has 105 points. Racing Point is in a distant 7th with 59 points. Williams are in 8th with 22 points. Very impressive from them. Alfa Romeo are just behind in 9th with 20 points. And Haas has a measly 5 points to their name so far. And we've got a car missing. Haas Formula is missing from Q2. I'm not sure why. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that he... our spectator menu's unglitched. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that he joined the session late in Q1. Yeah, I'd put it down to that. But, BRL Maverick, you are a legend. You have gifted out 5 Tier 1 subscriptions to the channel. I get it, it's your league, but still, that is super generous. Boom, he says, and boom indeed. That is a really amazing contribution. Let's see, who's been gifted? Ferrari Nut 94, thank you very much for watching the stream. That's your reward, a Tier 1 sub. Same with you, ABR Baraps 19, who's in the chat. Broken Reptile, TES Signs, and Stevie Gaming. Stevie Gaming 44. All of you deserve every little bit of your subscriptions simply by watching the stream. Hoopalicious is in the chat as well. Hoopalicious is one of our Tier 1 drivers, our very best. Tier 1 runs on Saturdays, by the way. It's no assists allowed, not even racing line. And there's some very good racing there as well, so I would recommend checking it out. Let's see, who's going to be the first to start their lap here? It's going to be one of the Racing Points. FinFan is currently the front man, the point man ahead of Zampa. So he'll be the first one to set a flying lap time unless he just lets Zampa by, which is unlikely.
And something before he starts his lap, this actually doesn't pertain to him, but the Ferrari cars, of course their engine got nerfed badly, but their ERS runs out so early, just coming out of Blanchimont is where their ERS runs out, meanwhile other cars are making it all the way to the line. So not only has the engine itself been nerfed, but so has the electrical deployment as well.
Yeah, true. Although, to be fair, it is relatively easy to save ERS on this track. You can just turn it down to none in some of the slower corners like Malmedy or Rivage or No Name, where you don't really need it, and it often costs you more than it gains. Because, if you turn it down to none going through No Name, which is a very oversteery corner if you have a very low downforce setup, then you could actually, lose not that much time there, because you can be more aggressive on the throttle because you've got less power in that throttle.
Yep, that's where I told my driver to turn it off to save a bit before this session, after noticing they were running out so easily there. So that's where I expect him to turn it down.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Anyway, let's get the graphics back up for Q2. Yeah, we've got all the stuff here: telemetry, full track map, lap data, and the best tire graphic. We've got a few guys out on the medium tire right now, running the medium gamble in Q2, trying to get into the top 10. One of them is Boss Cookie. That's the most notable one. Wyborn, Taylor Clan, and Mean Fern are all doing it as well in the Red Bull, Mercedes, and Renault, respectively. I think Boss Cookie, Wyborn, and Taylor Clan are all going to have the pace to pull that off, even if just barely. Not too sure about Mean Fern, though. What's your take? Do you think it's worth it for some of these midfield cars to try that medium gamble, or is it just a waste of time? Chandler, are you there? Chandler, hello. All right, looks like Chandler's having some problems.
I'm back. The
okay.
headset decided it was gonna die for a minute. But
I'll ask the question again.
You heard it.
I
was able to hear you. It was the mic. But I'd say if they think they got a pace, they can go for it. I mean, I think Cookie has the pace. You said he was one of the ones on it. I think he would have the pace. I think FinFan might have the pace, but he's of course already set his lap on the stock, so that won't be happening. But I think for Cookie, he might as well.
But yeah, Taylor Clan setting a faster time than FinFan, Sainz, and Phantom. Very impressive indeed. That's that's an excellent showing from all of them. But especially Taylor Clan, fastest time on the medium tire, just ahead of FinFan, who's only 17 milliseconds behind. And there goes one of the Mercedes cars through now. I think that's Taylor Clan. But yeah, a lot of impressive lap times already. Let's see who's coming up to the line. I think Boss Cookie's just heading down the back straight right now, but he's invalidated. Yeah, Boss Cookie has invalidated his first medium lap, so that's not going to be good for the tire wear. Keep in mind, you only get one set of mediums to use in qualifying. And if you have to start the race on them, you do too many laps on them, that could erode your advantage.
The Ferrari Nacho lost car through poo on there. He say we'll keep it out of the areas and stuff. That one ruined.
I didn't see it. He's just coming through Fanyas now, but yeah, it looks like he has lost quite a bit of time, judging by the timing stopwatch. Zizou is on an in-lap, it would appear, after invalidating. New Zealand Ryan is out early this time, unlike in Q1, and he's gone wide at no name, and he's invalidated his lap. That might be the commentator's curse there, because he did that right as I cut to him on here. And that's going to be a waste of his time as well. Much like Boss Cookie. Now Mean Fern, what can he do on the medium tire? He's in the Renault. He's currently just thundering out of Stavolo and onto the back straightaway. By the way, Top Gotcha 2011, if you're still watching, I'm sorry I didn't catch you earlier, but you have followed the channel, and I therefore thank you very much on behalf of all of Breakout Racing League. As Mean Fern locks up big time going into the bus stop chicane, takes a lot of curb on the inside. Looks like he hasn't lost too much time, though. What's it going to be? It's going to be a 1:44.2, and that's the sixth fastest time, and I don't think that's going to be good enough for Q3.
Yeah, he's definitely
If Q1 is any indication.
He's not too good.
Yeah, the 43s, somewhere in the 43s is where you need to be for Q3 around here. Of course, the pole time is probably going to be a lot faster than that, maybe into the 41s. I know I'm just kind of a mediocre player at this game with roughly Tier 3 pace, and my best time trial time around here is about a 1:42.4. So I suspect most of these guys will be matching or beating it if they have the machinery to do so. So yeah, maybe high 141s, low 42s. Looks like Mean Fern might be transitioning straight from one lap to the next. I'm not too sure. Maybe he's just pushing very hard on his inlet to save time. That is not unheard of. I know I do that quite a lot.
Cookie up to P4 on the medium tires, so that.
Oh, he went straight from one lap into another.
Yeah, that might be good enough for.
Yeah, that's a big judgment on his part to fuel the car a bit more. He knew he might invalidate it on the first lap, so maybe he took it a little easier on the second lap. So he's got maybe 3 or 4% more tire wear now, but that is an excellent lap. That might be good enough for Q3, just barely. I think the mid to low 43s are where you need to be, as I mentioned earlier. Who else is on a lap? ABR Burraps, 19 is on a flying lap rather. Purple Sector 1, despite having the somewhat dinky Honda engine. Now coming into Rivage, let's ride on board with the famous founder of American British Racing, another excellent league. Not quite as good as BRL, but still good.
You definitely were not paid to say that right there.
Oh yes, I was not paid in the least. I'm completely independent of BRL's sizable purse. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, looks like perhaps locks up a little bit coming into Fanya chicane. Bit of an unusual place to lock up, if we're being honest. Most fourth gear corners with medium-sized braking zones are pretty easy to avoid locking up in, but perhaps it's a Purple Sector 2 on the soft compound tire, and he is flying right now. Clearly the lockup in Nathaniels is not really impeding him that much. And he's thundering down the back straight. Now, he might lose a bit of time to the Mercedes cars in this part of the track, but he's got a cracker of a lap going so far.
Yeah, this is a chance at the first 41, if he can get the last chicane right. It's a little wide, but we'll skip to the line. Not
yeah,
quite.
We'll check in on him. And Burraps goes fastest with 142.2. That's an excellent lap in the Red Bull. It certainly looked fast, and it was fast. That is an extremely impressive time for any non-Mercedes to set. As Sainz now, or sorry, Boss Cookie is coming into the pits. And Nautiel F1, currently on an out lap in the Ferrari. Who's the next to come to the line? Wyborn. Wyborn is thundering down the back straight. He's done a purple middle sector, and he's on the medium compound of tire.
I think
he's done his best lap on the compound.
I think this middle sector purple is a bit of a lie because he lost back in out of the corner going on to the back straight there. So that definitely compromised his run all the way. But just by a sector split,
if you need Stavolo too, the second part of that corner is technically in sector 3, and he goes 8th fastest. So yeah, I think that mistake did cost him enough time for that to be real in the purple middle sector. Yeah, 8th fastest.
It was the corner before the split, but yeah.
Oh, the corner before the split. In that case, yeah, I'm a bit sus on that.
He's definitely going to go again, though. That is too close to call.
Yeah, on the softs, I'm surprised. That's barely faster than his medium time from Q1, despite the track evolution and the faster compound. Meanfern, meanwhile, is just starting or ending a lap. I think he's ending one, considering how old those tires are. Meanfern's currently 10th fastest right on the bubble. I don't think he's going to be staying in the... I don't think he's going to be staying in Q3 with that time. Nautiel F1 is on a lap. Meanwhile, he's just coming through Pouan now. That's right on board with the Ferrari driver. Recently been nerfed quite badly. Into the Fanya chicane. Ooh, a lot of curb on the outside for entry, but that is a strat. That is a strat commonly used to get more speed through the corner. A little wide on the second apex. After Stavolo, that's very clean indeed. Purple middle sector. I don't think that one's a lie. That looks fast. Of course, anyone can get a purple middle sector if they're fast enough.
Might be a lie, but
because engine differences don't really matter as much in that technical part of the track. But yeah, we'll see just how accurate it is. He hit the 130 mark a lot later than Burraps did. I'm noticing, or a lot earlier. Sorry, but I don't think it's going to be anywhere close to Burraps' lap time in the Red Bull. Or should it be, considering the pace of that Ferrari? But it's going to be 9th fastest, still ahead of Phantom and the 2 Renault cars. So I'm sure he'll be content with that for now, but could be marginal as to whether he gets into Q3. If he really rushes this in-lap, he could possibly strap on another set of softs and go again. But it's going to be very marginal. Boss Cookie is on an out-lap, so clearly Boss Cookie does not feel very secure in his position, and he's on the softs. Oh, Boss Cookie is abandoning the medium gamble. That could play a pivotal role in deciding the outcome of this race if the strategy gets mixed up a bit with a safety car or something. I wonder, will Boss Cookie do that thing that some of the top teams do in real life? Maybe bail out on their soft lap at the end if they're still comfortably in the Q3 zone?
Yeah. On our side, he does that because he's already up there. He's looking safe. No point to qualify on the soft if he's on the medium, which at pretty much every track the opposite strat is a little faster sometimes, sometimes way faster. But either way, it should be a little bit faster.
Yeah, we are going to ride on board with Boss Cookie here for his lap, since he is going to be the next car to start a flyer. Nautiel F1 not marked as being on an out lap, but he is on an in lap because he just finished his flying lap, if you're just joining us and don't know why Nautiel's not pushing. So we're going to go to the McLaren driver now. Again, currently 3rd in the Drivers' Championship. Very impressive performance from him so far this season. And we're up to 24 viewers now. Thank you guys. To everyone who's watching, thank you very much. It's very unusual to get this amount of viewership during qualifying, especially considering how long qualifying drags on in this format. But thank you all very much for sticking around, and we hope you'll stick around for the race. And I'm left wondering what happened to Aus Formula. It could be another glitch in the game, because I have seen situations where 15th place gets eliminated in Q1.
Yeah, no, what it is, of course, he joined mid-session, and we knew that risk going into it. If you join mid-session, there's a high chance that the game decides you're just not going to get to the next session, and that's what's happened here. So he'll start not only just P15, but he'll start P20.
Not a purple first sector from Boss Cookie, but again, he is driving a slower car than Burraps is. So he's not going to be expecting to go fastest, I don't think, but something like second or third fastest. I'm sure he can stretch that McLaren's pace on softs to roughly what Taylor Clan's is on mediums if he really is able, if he can really squeeze everything out of it. Doesn't look like anyone else is on a flying lap just yet, but there is a racing point coming up to the line. That is Zizo MX that's about to start. And Zampa's just started his flyer as well, his only flyer of the session. So Zampa's going to have a lot to do to get out of Q2. And looks like Boss Cookie went a bit wide coming out of the first part of the Fenny chicane. That might have cost him a bit of time, but still flying purple middle sector in the McLaren. I'd say I believe that one.
Yeah, that one might be so, yeah.
That was very clean. That was extremely clean. Let's see. Everyone hits the 1 minute 30 mark in the lap's time somewhere down this back straightaway if they're on a good lap. The question is, where is he hitting it? He's hitting it just before Burap's did. So he's not that far behind Burap's time, but I'm sure he lost a bit in the first sector just because the McLaren isn't quite as fast down the Kemmel Straight.
He's going to set the time.
He goes fourth fastest. Yeah, he did not back out of that lap. Clearly, he's abandoning the medium gamble wholeheartedly. And his best lap is now on the softs, so that's what he'll start on. Taylor Clan is also on a flyer now on the soft compound tire, but I don't know why he's doing it. He could start the race on mediums, and that would be a huge advantage for him.
Yeah,
Sector 1 now on the softs.
Something I've noticed is Ritchie has invalidated his lap, so just one person behind him needs to beat his time, and he is out of Q2.
Yeah, and that one person could be his teammate Meanfern, who's about to start. No, he's already on a lap. Yeah, it could also be Zampa if he can get literally everything he possibly can out of that Haas car. Could be New Zealand Ryan, who hasn't set a time yet. FinFan is retired from P3. I'm sure he's very happy with his efforts. As we continue to watch Boss Cookie, or not Boss Cookie, what am I saying? Taylor Clan thread his way through the middle sector, now through the Fenny chicane and into Stavelo. Very important part of the track to get right. And this is a very nice camera angle indeed, right situated within the AstroTurf. No purple sector 2. Can't quite beat the handling of that Red Bull through the technical part of the track, but I'm sure he'll beat him handily down the back straight here through Blanchimont. Takes it very nicely. Avoiding the curbs, now coming into the braking zone for the bus stop chicane. Not overshooting it at all, just a teeny bit of walk-up on the left front. And he comes across the line.
He is also
141.964. God damn, that is excellent from Taylor Clan. P1 in the Mercedes.
Yeah, so everyone's going their laps on the soft tire, then there will be no medium starters.
Wyborn is finishing a lap now on the Red Bull. He clearly doesn't feel too secure in his position in Q3. He's going to go fifth fastest. That's very nice indeed. The drop zone currently has Meanfern, Phantom, Zampa, and New Zealand Ryan in it. Zampa's set at 144.4, so he is going to be eliminated. He does not have the time for another lap. And New Zealand Ryan, meanwhile, just coming across the line. It's a 142.7. Both AlphaTauris are going to get into Q3 here, as Notyel is retired. So Notyel will not get a chance to set another lap, and Notyel has been eliminated in Q2, as I predicted earlier. And the session is over. So the last person has finished their last lap. So people that have dropped are Notyel F1 in the Ferrari, Ritzy Raccoon in the Renault, SSR Zampa in the Haas car, and of course BRL Phantom in the Mercedes, whose last lap just wasn't quite enough. He was 5 milliseconds. Look at that, 5 milliseconds off the time of Zizou in the Racing Point. Some very fine margins here in the split between Q2 and Q3. But these are the 10 that have made it. The 2 Racing Point cars, the 2 McLarens, both AlphaTauris, one of the Mercedes cars, both Red Bulls, and one of the Renaults of Meanfern. Meanfern just getting enough pace out of that car to get into Q3 at the last moment. We'll have to see what he can do in Q3. Keep in mind, all of these guys that have made it into Q3, they're going to get an extra set of soft tires that they can use in this session. So you do technically get 4 sets of softs in qualifying, it's just that one of them isn't available to you unless you get into that top 10 shootout. Phantom saying P8 to P11. I was so close. Yeah, Phantom.
P8
really
to P11 was only 200ths of a second, P8 to P11. So 4 drivers could by just 200, so it was really close at the end.
Really nutty margins here. Let's see who's going to come out of the pits first. Looks like it might be Taylor Clan. I hear some noises in the Mercedes garage.
Yep.
It is going to be Taylor Clan, it would appear. First out onto the track. No, a Racing Point's going to overcut him a bit, or undercut him, or whatever you call that. and it's going to be num 1 FinFan. FinFan's going to be the first for the second session in a row to set a flying lap time, or attempt to set one at least. Strip corner cutting might prevent him from actually setting a time here in his first run, but we'll see. Let's get the tire data up. Just on an out lap right now. And let's take this opportunity to make some predictions. Chandler, how do you see this Q3 session shaking out?
I see Taylor and Burabs being the two battling for pole. I don't see anyone else getting close to them. And of those two, I think it will be Taylor that ends up taking that. Mercedes is just too good around here compared to the Red Bull. But then after that, it's going to be a 4, 5, 6-way fight for P3, I think. The AlphaTauris are going good.
I would agree with you on Taylor Clan and Burabs, but I wonder, Boss Cookie could just secure third. And I like the AlphaTauris. I like how well they're doing.
Yeah,
They are really impressive to see.
They're the team of the session so far, I think. The AlphaTauri is the 7th best car.
Yes.
And both drivers threw into Q2, or Q3, sorry, and they're both through comfortably, so they're on for a good race potentially.
Yeah, and FinFan as well. The Racing Points are, of course, getting a big benefit from this performance patch. They're the only team to have been buffed in said patch, and it's showing with 2 cars in Q3 here with Zizou and FinFan, although Zizou only just scraped in by, again, 5 milliseconds over Phantom. Really fine margins. And Jose Edwin, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce your Twitch name, but thank you nonetheless for following the stream. You are our 619th follower. It's absolutely ludicrous how big the BRL Twitch channel has become, to the point where we're regularly getting 30, 40, 50, even 60 people viewing a given stream simultaneously as FinFan starts his first flying lap of Q3 and the first flying lap of Q3. We're going to ride on board with him at least for the first sector. Looks like a good run out of La Source, maybe a bit more curved than he would have liked on the outside exit. Now coming into the infamous Eau Rouge corner. Taking plenty of curb, a little wide on the right-hander. Taking it a little bit conservatively through Radion as well, but still a good run down the Camel Straight, past 200 miles an hour. Let's see what he tops out at. It's going to be 205, it looks like, before he has to brake for Lake Calm, indeed. Purple first sector, of course, because he's the first guy in the session to set any sort of first sector time. Ooh, very violent direction change from Lake Calm to Malmedy. That might cost him a little bit of time. Taking plenty of curb going into Rivage. Very important to get as wide an entry as possible into that corner to avoid the understeer. Now through No Name, not taking a whole lot of curb, almost running wide, a little bit of oversteer there. A bit of a scary moment for the Racing Point. And actually, if he goes fast enough, FinFan could come up to Wyborn, who's in front of him right now on an outlap. Very unusual for Wyborn to have come out that late. But yeah, he might have to get out of the way here to make way for FinFan and Taylor Clan, both of whom are nose to tail right now. Actually, Taylor Clan is not that far behind. He could be affected by Dirty Air a little bit. Not too sure where the line is drawn in this game when it comes to Dirty Air.
Yeah, from the distance back, he's not feeling like Dirty Air. More slipstream effects.
Yeah, I doubt it. In real life, he might. But yeah, again, in this game, Dirty Air was really nerfed after people complained about it in F1 2017, especially. Because, of course, the wider cars, the new aero packages made for a lot more Dirty Air in real life, so they just tried to emulate that, but it didn't make for very good racing. So they really nerfed it in 2018 and especially 2019. And now Taylor Clan with a 141.6. That's a monstrous effort.
That
3/10
right
faster
there
than his Q2 time.
Already.
Yeah, FinFan having a valiant effort, but he's 1.2 seconds off the pace in that slightly slower Racing Point car. Of course, it is a battle of the 2020 Mercedes versus the 2019 Mercedes. And it just goes to show how much faster this year's cars are. Boss Cookie splits the two with a 142.6, and ARS Science is just behind them with a 143.0. And New Zealand Ryan bringing up the rear so far with a 143.5, and his teammate Brown Beaner beats it with a 143.0, just 7 milliseconds ahead of ARS Science. AlphaTauri still being very impressive as Meanfern goes up and sets a time of 143.8. That's not too impressive. Yeah, not a very good time there for Meanfern. That's going to put him in dead last in the session, I think, 10th place, if that sticks. Wyborn, meanwhile, he's just going on his flying lap now, and I think Zizou invalidated. Yeah, Zizou must have invalidated his flying lap because he's back in the pits without setting a time.
Yeah, Zizou actually, he was like going left to finish his lap, but then he just made a quick change direction into the pits, and it might have thrown Boraps off a little bit as he was kind of close. It's kind of a weird movement.
Yeah. Zizou doing decently well in the championship so far. He started all 10 races this season so far. Well, he's been around for all 10, but he's only started 8 of them, and he's finished. And Zizou has an excellent record so far, 10th in the Drivers' Championship, And he has scored points in 7 of the 8 races that he's started. So that looks set to continue today if his qualifying pace can translate into race pace.
Wyborn not on a very good lap. He made a mistake just before the 3rd sector. Had to lift off
He really
a lot.
cut the bus stop chicane. I'm surprised he didn't invalidate there. He took so much curb in the first part of the chicane. 8th fastest, 1:43.5. That's got to be a very disappointing lap considering where Burap put his Red Bull. The 1:42.1. Faster than his Q2 time as well, but only by less than a 10th. So perhaps maybe has a little bit more to find in that Red Bull car if he wants to get pole position. And yeah, no one is on a flying lap at the moment. Everyone has just finished theirs. Or in the case of Zizou, pulled in after not finishing theirs. So we shall see. We shall see how everything shakes out at the end of the session. I think everyone here is just going to get one more chance, one more shot at setting a time in a fully rubbered out track. As Wyborn pulls into the pits. And Brownbeaner is going to pull into the pits, I believe, as well. He was one of the last in that initial train to set a time. And yes, he is pulling into this very tight and tricky pit entry with an 80km/h speed limit. That's about 50 miles an hour for those of you who don't like the metric system too much. And I'm sure the AlphaTauri driver will get another chance to set a time. Now let's check Twitch chat real quick. Wyborn is the new Albon, says Vera F1 Hamilton. Perhaps, Alex Albon. He's actually decent in qualifying, I will say. At Portugal last weekend, he qualified 5th, I believe. Yeah, 5th, just behind the 2 Mercs, Verstappen and Charles Leclerc. Of course, he did get beaten by a Ferrari, you could say that, but Leclerc's just driving on another plane of existence at the moment. But yeah, I'm sure Wyborn will... How much time do you think he can find Chandler? He's only going to have one more shot, Wyborn.
Yeah,
so I wonder how much more he can do.
Looking at the mistakes he made, if he can iron out the mistakes, there's a mid-42, maybe mid-high 42 possible. I think he can jump himself up to the top 5 if he gets the lap
I would say over a second is in there. If he can seize it. Meanfern has invalidated his outlap, but that doesn't matter too much.
This is
actually Meanfern.
He's actually done 2 laps already. He might be able to get 3 laps in, which is really surprising, actually, if he can manage it.
Yeah, Meanfern's pulling into the pits now. Actually, yeah, he's going to have enough time. That's an excellent strat for Meanfern. If he has another first set of softs.
I don't know how he did it. But if he's got that extra set, then...
Yeah, Zizou's on an out lap. Zizou in the Racing Point's going to be the first out in this second wave of people to start flying laps. And we are not going to ride on board with him. We're just going to enjoy these excellent broadcast camera angles that Codemasters have provided for us based on real life. I must say, hopefully this race will be a bit more interesting than the real-life Belgian Grand Prix, which, must be said, was one of the worst races of this season. Quite boring. Ham-bot-ver finish. No one likes that very much.
We got treated the next race after anyway, so that's alright.
Yeah, true. Now then, Zizou coming down the Kemmel Straight now. Purple Sector 1. Yeah, track evolution playing a bit of a factor there.
That might be real. It just depends on the aero.
Yeah, I would say it's real. He's got the best engine. Yeah, he's got the best engine. He's got hand-me-down Mercedes aero, so it's not too bad. Coming through Ravage, big lockup, but he keeps it on the racing line. Not too aggressive on the exit of Ravage. Taking a lot of outside curve on the entry to No Name, but going a bit wide at the apex. I think he made a mistake there at No Name. That could be called a mistake. Not carrying a gigantic amount of speed through Coulomb, but maybe he's just wary of his car's capabilities. Now coming into the Fanya chicane. Avoiding that outside curve, hitting the apex nicely. And the second apex. Oh, that was a perfect Fanya chicane.
Yeah, this is looking like a good lap for him.
Quite good. Yeah, coming through Stavolo now. Purple middle sector? No, not quite.
The second sector split isn't too great, but with how close it is, this would see him shoot up to maybe P5, maybe even higher.
Yeah, those mistakes in Ravage and No Name seem to have proved costly, but I'm sure he can claw it back considering how far up he was in the first sector on the pole time. This could be top 3. This could be top 3, Let's see how it shakes out. 39, 40, 41, 42. No, it's not going to be top 3. It's going to be 7th fastest. Might have gotten a bit of wheel spin through Stavolo. I'm not too sure. But yeah, that was not a very impressive third sector, and it's going to cost him.
Brown Beamer over nearly a tenth and a half up on the previous purple
And
sector.
Zizou's done. He doesn't have. He could set another lap now if he wanted, but I don't think he's got enough fuel for it because he's backed out.
But Brown
So let's see
Beaner
who's coming up to the line next.
Brown Beaner is on
Fin Fan.
quite the lap where he is with that first sector.
Fin Fan, I think he ruined his previous lap. Yeah, Fin Fan has backed out of his previous lap and gone again. So that'll be interesting to see. Boss Cookie. Yeah, Boss Cookie isn't on a flying lap. He's on an out lap, though. He's going to start a lap soon. Meanfern's going to start a lap soon. Behind them, Taylor Clan's going to start a lap. Looks like Baraps is going to start a lap as well. Yeah, a lot of guys coming up to the line to start their laps now. Wonder how much more time Boss Cookie can squeeze out of that McLaren. I think P3 is going to be the ceiling for him just because of his car's performance. We shall have to see. Boss Cookie is, of course, the coordinator for this realistic league. He's the guy who's doing all the behind-the-scenes work to keep this tier up and running, so big shout-out to him. Of course, he gets no favors in qualifying. He's still got only the 4th or 5th fastest car here. Coming through Rouge and Ready on.
Brown Beaner moved up to P4, and Fin Fan just made a mistake there through no name. That might really cost him here. Cost him a couple places.
Oh yeah, he's only down by 100th on his lap time through Sector 1, and with that mistake, he might not improve. Potentially, both the racing points here could be done with their qualifying. If
Here's something. The AlphaTauris are given slip, specifically Brown Beaner giving slip to Ryan.
Oh, slipstream, yes.
This is
Ryan getting a slipstream.
This is a near perfect slip. This is only worth 3 tenths or so.
This is a common tactic in real life at Spa and at Monza as well. And this is a teammate slipstream. Brown Beaners have already set a better lap than him.
Yeah, Ryan with the purple sector.
Yeah, now coming through Malmedy, that could give him a second row start there potentially. P4 could be in the cards with that slipstream. It's worth a lot of time.
Cookie has invalidated his lap.
Cookie invalidated?
Yep, that is
oh yeah.
Over.
Kenya chicane, I'm guessing?
I did not see where, but
alright, Brown Beaner isn't setting another lap. So Brown Beaner stays in a provisional 4th, but I can't imagine his time will hold up against his teammate. No! He's invalidated. New Zealand Ryan is invalidated.
The Y1
and that slipstream is all for naught.
Seems to be, yeah, Y1 seems to be the last guy on. Oh, actually, we got Taylor.
We got some guys coming up to the line right now. Cookie's going to come up to the line, but he's not going to get anything. Meanfern's coming up to the line. He's going to not improve.
Yeah, he was invalid.
Yeah, Wyborn's coming up. Wyborn goes 6th fastest with a 142.8, so he did shave 7 tenths there. And Taylor Clan did not improve either. So, yeah, New Zealand Ryan's not going to improve either because
that's it for laps.
He's invalidated. That was so sad. Laps. That's so unfortunate. Yeah, Brown Beaner's backed out of his.
He would have nearly...
Hold on, Era Science.
He would have... Ryan would have nearly beat the...
No.
Ryan would have nearly beat the sister Red Bull car. He would have been just a bit of a 10th off of Baraps there. Had he not invalidated.
Yeah, of course, he'd lose a lot of time in the middle sector, but still, that's huge. Really yeah, that teammate slipstream.
Yep.
You can only imagine what that would do for him. But that is the end of qualifying. Your pole sitter, as we mentioned, is Taylor Clan in the Mercedes. And it's a very unfortunate end for New Zealand Ryan, who could have gotten a second row start there. But this is the top half of your starting grid. Taylor Clan starting on pole position. ABR Baraps, his championship rival, just behind him in the Red Bull. Boss Cookie starting 3rd in the McLaren, so it's 1, 2, 3 in the championship standings there. Brown Beaner with an excellent lap in the AlphaTauri, even without the teammate slipstream. He starts 4th. Era Science in the McLaren. He's in P5. Wyborn goes up to 6th on his last lap. It's an all-racing point 4th row with Fin Fan ahead of Zizou. And Meanfern is ahead of New Zealand Ryan. Renault and AlphaTauri on the 5th row of this grid. So we've already got 26 viewers on this stream. I hope all of you will stick around for what should be a very enticing Belgian realistic Grand Prix. And Maverick said, wow, that slips was so good. Too bad he invalidated. Yeah, we're saying, like, holy, that if Ryan hadn't invalidated there, that could have been a big shakeup to qualifying. But no, he stays in P10, about where you'd expect an AlphaTauri to be, honestly. And now they're on the grid, and it's overcast. I wonder, are we going to get some Belgian weather here?
Honestly,
rainy conditions?
I'm not sure of any weather because I feel like they would have mentioned something in the realistic chat, and I've not seen anything of it, so...
We've only had one fully wet race so far this season. It was at China, round 2. So it's been a while. We've had some other races where rain has reared its ugly head. Canada and France, but those weren't full wet races. We could be in for a treat here, but we'll have to see. Yeah, if there are any realistic drivers watching the stream right now who know the weather, please let us know. Anyway, these guys are going to be using this time now on the grid to finalize their fuel loads. Very important. Their strategies, their setups. You know, they could still change their front wing settings even after qualifying per Parc Fermé regulations.
And so
The formation
something interesting here: the Ferraris, both Williams and both Alfa Romeos, they are all on the mediums, while the Haas cars, the Renaults, of course, mean pronounced on it, but the Renault,
I'm getting tired out of it now.
And Phantom, they're all on the softs. But 3 teams have decided to go for the medium.
Yeah, Ferrari and Alfa Romeo both going forward in full, as well as Williams.
Yep.
That could mix things up a bit. That could spice things up in the fight for the lower regions of the points. We'll just have to see. Although, again, the Alfa Romeos, the Ferraris, and the Williamses will all be severely hampered by this realistic performance. The Williams is the slowest car. The Alfa Romeo, the 3rd slowest. The Ferrari is in the bottom half, I'd say. And yeah, what do you think? There could be rain here? Oh, BRL Norris is now saying in the chat, full dry.
Yep.
Despite this extremely ominous weather.
That is Taylor, so yep.
That is Taylor Clan? Okay. Taylor Clan, our pole sitter, he says it's going to be a dry race. So we will believe him.
No, that's typical. Mercedes, they're able to type in chat while driving.
I cannot hide my disappointment. He's probably got his AI taken over, considering it's just a formation lap. But I cannot hide my disappointment that we will not be having any rain despite this ominous cloudy weather. But hey, it should still be a good race. What are you thinking on strategy? I would imagine that a one-stop is the best bet around here.
Yeah, it'll be
your
soft.
Experience?
It'll be soft, medium, or medium soft. I think if they're going soft, medium, they'll be getting anywhere from lap 6 to 9. It just depends on what they want. I think lap 7 to 8 is the best. But you never know what they do. And then if they're starting mediums, they'll be going to the softs. And I expect them to hit around lap 14. Now, if there is a first lap safety car, I could see some drivers going to the hard tire and taking them to the end. But we'll just have to see.
Yeah, we all know that La Source hairpin is extremely chaotic. Of course, many of us will remember the 1998 race where just about everyone in the field crashed out on the first lap in that part of the track. Hopefully we won't have that today. Vasilopoulos asking, is this tier realistic or equal? Yes, it is realistic. This is our only realistic tier. All of our main tiers are equal on Xbox and PC. Interior Titans in the chat, one of our other commentators. Come on, my Alfa Romeo boys, he says. Now let me just check which tier Titan is in. I know it says here somewhere on the BRL Discord server, which all of you guys should join, by the way. It's an absolutely amazing server. Let's see, Mr. Titan. Where is he here? Mr. Titan 93. Yeah, Mr. Titan 93 is an Alfa Romeo driver for F1 Tier 4 here in BRL. So, yeah, Tier 4 runs, by the way, on Mondays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you guys should totally go check that out if you're free in that part of the week. And now, the Belgian Grand Prix. We go to 5 red lights. Focusing on the pole sitter.
Held him for quite a while.
Away we go. Good start for Taylor Chan. Good start for Taylor Clan. Perhaps on the outside. He's got an excellent start in the Red Bull. This is an awkward camera angle. We're going to ride on board with Taylor Clan, and perhaps is alongside. Perhaps is ahead. Perhaps is taking the lead. It says
I
the lead for some reason. That's a glitch. Ignore that. Perhaps is taking the lead in the Red Bull. I wonder if he'll be able to keep that down the Keppel Straight when the Mercedes has a better engine and slipstream. We're riding on board with the race leader right now, ABR, perhaps 19, and Taylor Clan pulls out alongside. He's going to get the lead in the late con. He's on the outside. He's on the outside. Boss Cookie's poking his nose in too. And it's going to be Taylor Clan. Taylor Clan's ahead of Baraps again. Multiple lead changes just in the first sector there, but everyone's still nose to tail coming through the
we had an incident in the back there.
Incident in the back, it's Natyal.
Looks like Ritzy and Natyal here.
Yeah, Ritzy and Natyal have indeed crashed. I'm not sure where or when.
Yeah, being the Ferrari manager, that is not fun to see, but at least we're seeing awesome formula, awesome the Ferrari going from P20 to P13 now in the first half of the lap.
And at least we're seeing some action at the front. Boss Cookie is trying to chase down Baraps now in the middle sector, but Baraps seems to be keeping him at arm's length for the time being. Everything staying relatively calm in the top 10, except that Zampa has broken into the top 10 in the Haas.
He's had a great start as well, starting
Zampa doing very well. New Zealand Ryan also off 3 places into 7. The AlphaTauri, he's going to be one to watch.
Racing Points have not had a good start themselves either.
Yeah, riding on board with Wyborn now. He's chasing down ARS Sainz for 5th here. He could make a move into the bus stop chicane if he dares. No. Well, at the end of lap 1, Taylor Clan, ABR Baraps, Boss Cookie, Brown Beaner, ARS Sainz is your top 5, followed by this man here, Wyborn. And then Ryan, Finnegan, Edenburn, and Zampa.
Lost Formula is into the pits. Is this a drive-through maybe? He did make a it's a pit stop.
Here we go, Lost Formula into the pits for a wing change. He has wing damage. He's missing an end plate on the left side. That's why.
That is
and they're double stacking. Niall's got wing damage too. That's going to lose him a ton of time. It's a disaster for Ferrari as Lost Formula goes on to the mediums. You got to think the only option for Niall here is going to be the hards because he's already on the mediums. Oh no, he's got mediums ready. Niall is going to have to make another stop here, and it is not looking good for the Ferrari guys already in their, what I believe is only their first or second race after the performance patch. It is truly a disaster for them here at the start. Now let's go back up towards the front. ARS Sainz currently trying to chase down Brown Beaner in the AlphaTauri. Currently is Red Bull AlphaTauri in that hierarchy of helmet marker cars. Perhaps leading Brown Beaner, leading Wyborn, leading Ryan. Although pretty much all of them are right on the back of one another, with the 2 McLarens getting involved as well. See ARS Sainz here. Let's look for more battles throughout the field. Joe F1 is right on the back of his teammate, Deer Hunter.
Teammates were getting real close.
Williams' teammates are in 12th and 13th. That's an excellent first lap for them. And now Joe is really on the attack here, forcing a locker from his teammate Stavolo. I wonder, he's got almost all of his ERS to play with. Deer Hunter has as well. He's going to try and move on his teammate into the bus stop chicane. Maybe team orders will come into play. Maybe it could be Joe, it's James situation. They just want to keep their cars in one piece in this high position for them at the moment. As Taylor Clan sets the fastest lap again with 146.4, and DRS is going to be enabled now.
Joe is going around the outside, this one's from the inside, and he's got the move.
That is a spectacular move into the bus stop chicane, and here comes Kiswato. Sink Kiswato is coming involved now. He is becoming involved, and he is down the pits race side by side with Deer Hunter, but Deer Hunter just pulls ahead with some overtake. We're going to stay on board here with the Alfa Romeo driver of Kiswato. He's right on the back now of Deer Hunter, and he's got a better car to play with, so we'll see how it plays out here.
The Ferrari engine just really, the Ferrari engine just really letting down. You can see how much Deer just started pulling there.
New Zealand Ryan has made a move on ARS Sainz. Oh, they touch. Sainz has gone wide there. He's gotten a bit loose in Lake Common. That's opened the door for Wyborn. Wyborn's alongside now. And the Rivage, who's going to yield? No one's going to yield. Is Sainz going to go around the outside? Not quite. He loses momentum in mid-corner. And Wyborn is going to keep the position, take it rather. He's going to take P6 after New Zealand Ryan. His sister car just punched Sainz out of the way, basically, in Lake Com.
Cookie with
Cookie gets a penalty
already.
For track limits, track limits violations. They're not that hard. They're not that easy to get at Spa, but not that hard either. There are certain places where you can cut pretty easily, like
there's actually multiple places that you can.
Right at Puan or at the exit of the
Brown Beaner next.
Brown Beaner as well, yeah. And
I was just going to comment on the AlphaTauri. They're P4 and P5 for the AlphaTauri. They're looking really good for this race so far.
They really are flying. Let's ride on board with Brown Beaner, who's currently right on the back of Boss Cookie, actually. He is within DRS range, but his teammate Ryan is within DRS range of him. So we could have a three-way scrap for a podium position here, and that's just going to allow Baraps and Taylor Clan to get away. Taylor Clan already pulling out a 1.7 second gap on Baraps, and Baraps is out of DRS range of Cookie as well, but just barely. Brown Beaner now not using the DRS. That's what's surprising. Not using it on the pit straight, but I'm sure he'll use it on the Kemmel straight. It's too much of an advantage to pass up. Got plenty of ERS to play with. We're up to 31 viewers on the stream now, so thank you all for your support again. And just like the bot says, follow us on Twitter if you'd like to stay up to date with all news concerning Breakout Racing League. Some guys have already made pit stops as well, other than the Ferraris. Vinci Raccoon, who was also involved in that lap 1 incident, has come in for hard tires, as has unknown Newton the Haas. I'm not sure why he did that. Brown Beaner is right on the back now of Boss Cookie coming into Lake Common through Malmedy. Gotta wonder, does Boss Cookie have some mild wind downs? Maybe he hit the back of Baraps in lap 1? Not too sure. Big lockup though from Cookie. Brown Beaner running a bit wide. And Kiswato's made a move. I think Kiswato further back has made a move on Deer Hunter in the Williams, so the Alfa Romeo is ahead now. And it is an Alfa Romeo v Williams fight for 12th through 15th positions. It's currently a white and red checkerboard in that part of the track. But Deer Hunter is not giving up the chase yet. He is right on the back of No Name, both on the same age medium tires. Could be a very good scrap here that could last several laps. Little back end step out from Kiswato as Notyel makes a pass for dead last from Unknown Ute. Notyel, of course, having a more capable car on the corners, despite the fact that both of them have the same engines. Works Ferrari versus Haas Ferrari. And Unknown Ute gets a penalty just as he's passed for 19th by Notyel further back. But further up front, who's battling? Brownbeater still right on the back of Cookie. He's actually gained a couple of tenths of a second this lap, and he could try something on the Camel Straight if he can summon the engine power. He's got about half of his ERS left to play with. Boss Cookie has 67%. About 2/3 compared to half for Brownbeater. So this is going to be a very tight scrap, I think, coming into Lake Calm if they can both get good exits off of La Source, which they have done. This is going to be a very interesting fight here. Cookie will not have DRS and Burraps. He's just too far back. And Burraps is just too far back from Taylor Clan. Taylor Clan's already got a 2-second lead over Burraps, and he's got DRS now, Brownbeater does. He's going to try it. No, he's not going to try it. I don't think he's not gaining quite enough time. No, he has a look. He has a look. Can't quite get it done, though, into Lake Calm. Boss Cookie being a lot more aggressive on the curves there. And FinFan, though, he's made the move into Lake Calm. He's passed Sainz for 7th as Sainz continues to fall down the field in the McLaren machine.
Yeah, I expect FinFan to start making moves in because in quality it showed he had the pace. He just had a poor start. But that Mercedes car racing point, that is the 3rd best car on the grid. And it'll show especially here at this track today. So I expect him to start making moves further up the field as we go.
Yeah, that is true. The tracing points are definitely two to keep an eye on, but the AlphaTauri is even more so because they are still on the back of Cookie. They're forming a bit of a train here, a Cookie train if you'd like to call it, and Wyborn is now catching up ever so slightly to the back of this train in the sister Red Bull car. Of course, he does have a faster car than the McLarens and the AlphaTauris, so you got to wonder how long will it take him if he can get to them, get within DRS range and pass. Ryan having a look at his teammate here. Brownbeater falling back slightly in the middle sector and down the back straight.
He's going
around the outside goes New Zealand Ryan.
Yeah,
what a move!
Brownbeater actually broke early to let him go. Looks like he notices that Ryan is the faster of the pair, and so he's on one team.
Play at Red Bull maybe? That is possible, but both of them have now fallen outside DRS range of Boss Cookie, so I wonder if they've shot themselves in the foot a bit with that, unless Ryan can get right back in range on this next lap.
I expect Ryan to do it. Ryan is the quickest driver.
Also allowed Wyborn to get within range. Wyborn has now gotten within range of Brownbeater, so maybe a little bit of inter-team communication here, as Wyborn will now have the assistance of that opening in the rear wing to go and chase down not only the 2 AlphaTauris, but also Boss Cookie in 3rd. And FinFan has DRS as well, and so does Sainz. It really is a truly train now, with all these people having DRS. Sainz right at the back of it right now, about 2.5 seconds out of Nienfern in 9th place. And Zizou rounds out the top 10 at the moment, and Zizou has actually pulled out a huge gap to Zampa. Zampa doing well to keep 11th in the Haas car. But he's quite far off the points now, despite that. Vanta, meanwhile, is dueling in the lower places, despite having the best car on the grid. I don't know what he's doing, but he's only just passed SF1 Rhodes for 15th place.
Yeah, he just flew by him with the DRS, overtakes, slipstream, all that, combined with Mercedes and Ferrari.
You gotta wonder what's going on with him. And you gotta wonder if Joe, F1, has enough pace to catch up with Zampa. 11th. Only time will tell on that battle. Meanwhile, Sainz is right on the back now of FinFan. He's gained a little bit in the middle sector. He's now only 5 or 6 tenths behind the pink mark. Can he do anything on the back straight? I think he'll be a little bit too far back, but what about Wyborn? Riding on board Wyborn behind Brownbeater, I don't think he's going to be able to do anything either. But meanwhile, Brownbeater has fallen to almost 2 seconds behind New Zealand Ryan. So I suppose that theory that Ryan had a lot more pace than him has rung true, and he's just broken away. Try and chase after Cookie, and actually he's almost within DRS range. He is within DRS range. A purple sector 3 from New Zealand Ryan. And there is yellow flags. I don't know who's off. I think it was Oz Formula, I think.
He must have had just a half spin there.
Looking at the mini-map, I think that's who it was. And Ryan is now within DRS range of Cookie. He's caught up to him. The AlphaTauri catching up to the McLaren. I'm going to ride on board here through the Camel Straight. I think he's going to be a bit too far back considering the delta between that Honda engine and the Renault one. Yeah, maybe Ryan's running slightly higher downforce as well. He has been gaining a lot in the middle sector on other cars around him. And meanwhile, Wyborn's still stuck behind his sister car. So I wonder, are there going to be any team orders there, as FinFan is now breathing down both of their necks, and the Racing Point is really having a look now into Rivage, as there's a walk-up from Wyborn there in the same right-hand corner. Looking like a very enticing battle for 6th place at the moment, 5th place rather, with Brownbeaner in the AlphaTauri in 5th at the moment. But yeah, FinFan is right there behind him. Chandler, how long do you think Brownbeaner can hold on? I mean, he's in a slower car than all 3 of the people behind him.
I think it's more a matter of how long until Wyborn gets to the Ooh!
Sainz is out. Sainz is retired from the session. And there's a virtual safety car.
Surely that
we're going to ride on board with Zampa. We're going to ride on board with SSR Zampa to see what's happened to him. We're coming up to the site of the stricken McLaren now. Oh!
Yeah,
he's done a Giovinazzi.
He must have just lost traction, man. Just straight on.
Yeah, he's done a 2020 Giovinazzi on the Fagnes chicane. And that is devastating for McLaren. F's in the chat for ARS Sainz.
That is odd.
Pretty big. It's going to promote Zampa actually into the points as the VSC ends now and DRS is enabled and people are in the pits. Boss Cookie pits.
I'm surprised Ryan's stayed out there.
Boss Cookie pits for the medium tire. Boss Cookie pits, Burap's pits, Taylor Clan pits. All 3 of the top 3 in the championship are pitting. Same with Meanfern. He's going on to the medium compound, it would appear. Yeah, he is Zizou as well.
Well, this is going to shake up nice for FinFan. FinFan could look to make a move on the Red Bull here. Yes, it's an easy overtake.
It's no contest. It is no contest. He's cleared him by Lecom.
Yeah, Wyborn shows he's no overtake there, and just made it easy for FinFan.
Yeah, it was kind of a pass or B-pass situation there for Wyborn against Brownbeaner. He just got held up too much, and the Racing Point is taking advantage.
Oh, actually,
as we've got some new followers.
Cookie must have been held up in the pitch time because Brownbeaner is passing, and I don't.
Oh yes.
Maybe
might have been held by
maybe a wing
by
change. I don't know what it was there, but
maybe Baraps was coming out of the box and just passed him while he was supposed to be leaving. Yeah.
Yeah, but Brownbeaner was quite a few seconds back from Cookie. Cookie may have done a wing change, or may have missed it.
I wonder, maybe that's why his lack of pace was a bit more pronounced compared to the top 2. I'm not sure, but he's on the back of Brownbeaner now in Pouon, and he's run wide. That's probably the dirty air in play there. Does run wide at Pouon. That'll doubtless be a track limits warning for the worsening Boss Cookies race. And they're both stuck behind Zampa now in the Haas, who did not pit under the VSC. Nice little train forming here now. And Deer Hunter has been passed by Meanfern in the Renault. Meanfern coming out of the pits has made quick work of the Williams in the middle sector. That looked like a Pouon move to me, considering the timing. And Niall's out now. Niall's bended in Radion. He's bended on the entry to the Kemmel Straight, and 2 people in pit now. Wyborn and FinFan are both pitting for the medium tires. They know I think they know they screwed up and didn't take advantage.
That's going to play into the hands of FinFan and Wyborn there.
Oh yeah, it is another VSC. I missed that. But Niall's car is already despawned, so unfortunately we won't quite get to see the disfigured Ferrari pictures that we know you all want to see on stream. Well, Chandler doesn't want to see him, but, you know, the viewers. And FinFan comes out just out of Wyborn, so they hold position, and they're immediately going to be at the mercy of a delta here. A delta time. If you do exceed that delta for 15 seconds, then you will get a drive-through penalty, so you got to be careful on that. Phantom further back is also pitting onto the medium compound of tire. And New Zealand Ryan in the AlphaTauri is leading the race. I don't know what he's doing. Like, is he?
Yeah, he's looking to go really long here. This is a bit odd.
Could try a mega overcut.
Yeah. Of course, this time he missed the pits for hitting for the.
Well, maybe he's gambling on another virtual safety car. He knows there were just a couple of VSCs within a few laps of each other. So maybe he's trying to keep the track position right now and then get a free pit stop later. Because if there was a VSC right now and he pitted, he would come out in 3rd, only behind Clan and Baraps, so that could work out very well for him, especially in his fight against Boss Cookie and FinFan.
Yeah, he's dumping a lot of overtake here, so this could be a sign of him going into the pits. That's generally what you do. You want to dump a lot of ERS because you save it in the pits, so we'll just have to see it. And Deer just got overtaken by the Racing Point there.
Anterior Titan saying Sainz crashed on stream. Yeah, we did see that. He's saying he lost it behind FinFan. Oh. Joe must have been in the dirty air at the Fenton chicane, and he binned it. That's the only explanation I can see. And yes, New Zealand Ryan is indeed into the pits, and that's going to give the lead back to the Mercedes of Taylor Clan. As Boss Cookie hits another track limits penalty. I think he's got more than anyone else.
He's got 6 seconds.
Chandler, could you please check the race director real quick and tell me who has penalties and how much in each of the top 6 from Clan down to Boss Cookie?
Yep, so Taylor has 2 warnings, perhaps nothing. He is clean. FinFan also has 2 warnings. Ryan has 2 warnings.
Wyborn, sorry to interrupt you, but Wyborn's right behind New Zealand Ryan now out of the pits. He's pressuring him hugely on the Kemmel straight, and they're both behind FinFan. So, yeah. I think DRS Ryan's going to try and move on FinFan. It's a pass situation, and he's taking advantage.
This could become a good fight for the rest of this race, actually.
Yeah, none of them have to pit anymore, of course, because it's an easy one-step race as Meanfern makes quick work of Sinky's Wato.
Cookie went around the outside.
He's now just behind Joe. Oh, really? But Brownbeaner's coming back, and he can't quite do it. Round the outside of Rivage. That's an excellent trick there from Boss Cookie. I know Brownbeaner nearly loses it in no-name corner, but he thankfully saves it in the middle. And he's going to be subject to that dirty air for the rest of the middle sector, I'd say. Yeah, and clearly not quite as confident through Puan as he normally would be. Meanfern, meanwhile, trying to make quick work of another slow car, this time Joe F1 in the Williams. Maybe he'll get him in the same way that he got his teammate into the Van chicane? No. We'll probably do it on the back straight. Stavolo really isn't an overtaking opportunity. This is an excellent shot here. Lock up from Joe into Stavolo. He seems to be locking up a lot in that corner. Not sure what the problem is there. And there's a little bit of a train forming with Zizou in it. Zizou's another big player who's trying to scythe his way through traffic as Clan sets the fastest lap of the race. And Joe's going to move aside.
Yep. That seemed to just let him go there. No point fighting.
Yeah, Joe's going to move aside. What about Zizou? Is Zizou going to try it into the bus stop chicane? It looks like he might. Kiswato's going to cover it off. Good defensive driving there from the Alfa Romeo. Placing the car really well. He might be trying to postpone getting passed by Zizou until he can get a move on Joe F1. We'll have to see how that develops. But meanwhile, back up front, the gaps have expanded slightly between these 3, Ryan, FinFan, and Wyborn. Ryan could be on for a podium. This is big. He's got slightly fresher tires, and he's got track position now.
Yeah, all 3 of these drivers
are
fighting for the last podium spots.
Yeah, you were in the race director, I believe, about penalties earlier. I cut you off after perhaps, so could you continue through that down to Boss Cookie?
Yep. So, again, Taylor, Braps, Ryan, and they all have no penalties. Braps is completely clean. Taylor, and Ryan all with 2 warnings. Wyborn has 1 warning, and Cookie, of course, he has 2 penalties to his name.
Right, so Cookie does seem to be on the back foot a bit right now. If those penalties took effect now, he would only lose 1 position to Brownbeaner, but I think Meanfern's going to start catching now that he's cleared the traffic. And Wyborn having a bit of a look there on FinFan.
He was deploying DRS.
The Fania chicane. But yeah, the Fania chicane is not a regular overtaking opportunity. I'm sure he'll try and wait until the back straightaway instead. Yeah, he does have slightly more ERS to play with FinFan, about 15% margin.
Zizou went around the outside of Joe there. Joe is a sitting duck at this point.
Yeah, Joe is a sitting duck. He's going to get passed by Kiswato as well, probably. Thankfully, there aren't any fast cars behind him in the immediate vicinity, but yeah, Joe can't really fight at that level of the field with his machinery. Now we're going to go back up to Wyborn.
Oh, Cookie with
Wyborn still right behind FinFan.
penalty.
What is Cookie doing? His form on the track limits is just not very good.
That
was deep into a source for Wyborn.
That's really awkward because there's no extra warnings. It just isn't validated lap times, but it might have been an instant 3-second time penalty there.
Yeah, perhaps. The game does give instant penalties sometimes if the offense is particularly egregious. Good runoff Radion there for Wyborn. He could try a move on FinFan. He's right behind him. Coming into Lake Con, he's going to have a look, I'm sure, but he's not going to try the move. He's just a bit too far back.
Yeah,
Brownbeaner now trying to move on Cookie. No.
Yeah, Wyborn doesn't know this.
Wyborn
doesn't know this, but FinFan is starting to run low in ERS. If he continues with the ERS usage he's been after the last few laps, he will see FinFan's ERS light start flashing on the next lap. So by that point, he'll know he's got to make the move.
Yeah, it does look that way. Zizou, meanwhile, staying within DRS range of Meanfern now. Now that both of them have cleared traffic, they're going to be fighting for 8th and 9th here. Going through no-name corner. course, the DRS will not take effect for them until the pit straight, but when it does take effect, it will be huge, as we've seen with other people so far. Phantom, meanwhile, catching up to the back of Rhodes again for 15th, and he's in a gaggle of slower cars right now. Just behind Rhodes, but ahead of Zampa and Unknown Ute, who's actually 30 seconds back from this little pack here. Yeah, Raccoon, Rhodes, Phantom, and Zampa all very nose to tail at the moment. You can see them in the picture right now. And Joe is actually putting up a good fight here. He's still in DRS range of Meanfern. If he can stay there until the Camel Straight, he could get a big boost in his battle against Kiswato behind. He's actually dropped Kiswato out of DRS. So Joe putting up a legit fight here for the final points-paying position. If he can just keep his DRS managed well enough.
Yeah,
Phantom's retired. Phantom's out.
Ooh. Hey, he must have lost on the exit there. And that is another VSC. That's another third virtual safety car there.
No one has to pit, though, so I wonder, will anyone go take a gamble and go on softs for the rest of the race for a bit of extra pace?
Softs could make it. They could make it, and I expect them to do so. But
three people are pitting. Os Formula, Kiswato, Joe. Os Formula, Kiswato, and Joe are in the pits, and they're all on softs. Yep, Joe, Kiswato, and Os Formula are all on the soft tires. They are taking the gamble that I mentioned before. Yeah, it looks like Phantom's car is despawned before Unknown Ute could reach it, so we'll never know exactly what happened to him. And Rhodes is actually taking the gamble as well on the softs. So that is a legit strategy here. As Zampa gets a penalty now for warnings under VSC. That's a bit of poor form from Zampa there. But this is really bad for Joe, actually, because he was in good position against Meanfern and the others, but now he's having to take a tire gamble. And Kiswato's slightly closer to him.
Wow, I don't know if you saw this, but Brown Beaner went over to Cookie just as it ended. It looked like, but he's made a mistake there, and he's let him back through because of the mistake.
Yep, I just got to the onboard of Brown Beaner, and
Cookie looked like he had to hit the brakes there because maybe he was speeding and had to hit a last-minute brake check there, and that allowed Brown Beaner to go right by. Yeah,
VSC deltas can be a bit tricky to manage, especially towards the end of the period. But yeah, Beaner, this could be advantage Beaner. He's got momentum into the bus stop here. He could get him into the bus stop and nab DRS for the pit straight if he leaves it late enough. Gonna go down the outside. That's a tricky move, and
Yeah, he was on the grass there. He would not have been able to slow that down time if he tried it. But yeah, something to note about P3, P5, this Waghorn picks up a 3-second time zone, so as of now, he's on the back.
Yeah, I saw that on the screen. Big lockup for Brown Beaner into La Source. That won't help his tire wear one bit, but he's still well within DRS range of Cookie on the Camel Straight here, so I wonder if he'll be able to make a move into Les Combes, as we've got a new follower. Hello, P Really795. Welcome to the BRL community. We hope you'll follow this stream. We hope your following of the stream is an indication that you'll tune in for some more of our streams. Our next stream after this is going to be, let me check real quick, F1 Tier 5 on Xbox is on Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 7 p.m. Pacific Time and 3 a.m. British Time. So go ahead and tune in for that if you like. PC Tier 1 is also happening at the same time. Our PC races will be going at it on Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Ooh, another mistake for Brown Beaner and No Name. He does not seem to like that corner at all. It is still 4/10 behind Boss Cookie. Using a lot more overtake though.
Ooh, Zampa down the inside of Zika. On the medium tire as well.
Kiswato just shutting the door on him, but now Os Formula's coming, making it almost 3 wide.
This is going to get close here.
Os Formula's gotten the move done on Zampa.
And as you say, that
battle, and it's only for 13.
As you say, that Fin picks himself up for 3 seconds time. So at the moment, Ryan is going to take the 3 on penalties.
Yeah, regardless. They got to hope that Ryan is a bit not as kind to the track limits as he has been thus far.
Yeah, of course, there's 8 laps.
Formula getting hand over fist in the Fender chicane. Os Formula's making a move, and he's done it. That's a perfectly orchestrated move through the Fanya chicane, and now all of them are catching up to Joe F1 very quickly on the soft compound tires, despite their battling. Os Formula's right on the back of him now as they go down the back straight through Blanchimont. Let's see what Os Formula can do. Does he have enough pace to attack the Williams into the bus stop? I don't think he will.
He is really low on DRS.
Yeah, he could save a little bit in the bus stop in La Source and then get him on the Camel Straight, but he's going to have to be very stingy indeed. Who is right on the back of him through the bus stop chicane. The Williams just doesn't have the turn-in of the Ferrari.
Deer Hunter.
Deer Hunter's into the pits, yeah, for soft tires. It's a very unusual and late move from him. I'm not sure if that's really worth it. But yeah, Os Formula is right on the back of Joe. Joe has a bit more ERS to play with.
Something we missed while watching this is Wyborn has got past Pinfan for P4.
Oh, that is true. Let's cut to that real quick. Wyborn is indeed ahead of Finfan as they head through Puan, but both of them have fallen behind Ryan. And now Wyborn's added DRS of Ryan. So I wonder, could New Zealand Ryan potentially break away here? This is a huge development. And AlphaTauri could be on the podium once again. Of course, Ryan is no stranger to the podium this season. He's gotten a podium already at Baku. That was second place. And then third place at Silverstone.
And Os Formula has now made the move on Joe. Of course, that was expected at any time. They're just waiting on it. But
yeah,
now,
of course. Looks like he made it into Ravage, yeah. And
now
Kiswato's going to be attacking him now.
Into the points, possibly.
Yeah, Sinka Kiswato is really attacking Joe now. Can't quite make a move into the Fangio chicane as Joe did on him, as Os Formula did on him the last lap. He's really on the back rim into Stavolo, and Joe is really struggling from Stavolo. He's locking up every single time I see him there. Kiswato gets a good run onto the back straight. He's got the slipstream now, even if he doesn't have DRS. And he's going to be right on the back of him into the bus stop chicane. Yeah, Ritzy Raccoon on those 12-lap-old hard tires. You got to wonder, can he take those to the end while still holding off Os Formula? I think Ferrari could still be on for some points here despite their shambolic start to the race. Now Kiswato finally gets some DRS on Joe down the pit straight. Don't think he's going to try anything into La Source. We haven't actually seen any overtakes into La Source. I'm a bit surprised about that, but of course, the Kemmel Straight is always going to be the biggest overtaking.
There's really no point trying to make a move there, because if you do, you'll just lose it again on the Kemmel Straight. So
yeah, that is true, unless your opponent just has no ERS to play with. But even then, it's possibly faster to wait for DRS anyway. And now Kiswato's got the DRS again and down a longer straightaway than before. He's going to try it on Joe into Lecombe. Yes, down the outside. Can he do it? No, he locks up. Joe squeezes him. And they touch. They make contact, and Kiswato has to yield, but Joe doesn't get a very good run through Malmedy. He's going to try against the Ravage here. Joe locks up hugely, and Kiswato's going to skate by on the inside. Some excellent side-by-side racing with that spectacular helicopter cam.
Side by side here.
Oh my gosh, Joe comes back at him into no name. Kiswato's forced wide, and he's going to get a track limit warning for that, I'm sure.
Someone's got the back out here, and it's going to look to be the Alfa Romeo. Yes, it is. But could he make a move back into the chicane?
The Fangio chicane, yeah, I think he's going to do it. Maybe down the outside again. No, he's
Joe breaks just late enough.
Yeah, he's going to force a lockup, but nothing more. Still a very enticing battle here for 12th place. And Zampa's catching up to both of them despite being on older medium tires. So if they continue to battle, that could be a concern for them. They lost a lot of time in Ravage and No Name. Now they're going down the back straight again. Only 5 laps to go now in this Belgian Grand Prix, and we've got plenty of action still, with no one set to make more pit stops. Kiswato not going to try it into the bus stop. Going to be real stingy here with his ERS, I suspect, down the pit straight, just so we can save. Save. Maybe a bit of lean fuel mixture as well to save some rich for the Kemmel Straight. Now into La Source, he's going to harvest a little bit more, up to 30% now for Kiswato, but Joe has almost twice as much. More than twice as much, actually, so Joe has a lot to defend with. It's just that he doesn't have the car under him to really attack the corners. And Meanford gets a penalty now for track limits, although he is pretty.
This is going to be a lot
moment, and he goes by.
Kiswato this time, yes.
Yeah, Kiswato is cleanly by Joe there before Lecombe, and that is a changing of the guard for 12th position in this race. And Os Formula, actually, he's not making that much of an impression on Ritzy Raccoon. I got to say, he was a couple of laps ago. He was about 3.5 seconds behind him or something, 3.4, and he's only closed that gap to 2.5 to 3 seconds.
Yeah, so
I gotta wonder, does he have enough pace?
On the hard tire. That is not great pace. He is.
Yeah, Ritzy's losing a lot in the middle sector. He's already lost 6/10 in the middle sector, but Ritzy's gaining a lot back in the first and second sector, in the first and third sectors.
Yeah, he's got so much more ERS. He's sitting on 80% ERS right now, while Os Formula is sitting on just.
Os Formula goes wide at Stavolo.
We got a yellow flag.
Yellow flag. It's in. It's Williams.
Deer Hunter.
It's Deer Hunter. Yeah.
Through Puan here.
no visual wing damage, so I think he's just spun on his own, but that's going to open him up possibly to an attack by SF1 Rhodes, who's only about 4 seconds behind him now. And he doesn't have a wounded car or overheated tires, unlike Deer Hunter, as Joe gets a penalty now for track limits. No one is immune to the steward's wrath today, but actually, credit to Joe, he stayed behind Kiswato very well in this lap, and now he's right behind him.
Hey,
he could come back at him
he
last
could make a move here then.
Oh yeah, he is right behind him, nose to tail, and he's going to get it done
the
with the last source. But again, like you said, the Kemmel Straight, he's just going to lose it again. Kiswato's right there.
Yeah, we're going to see how
and he's got the same amount of ERS now. Joe doesn't have double the ERS capacity anymore. He's lost a lot attacking in that last lap, and now he's going to be vulnerable. Kiswato puts a bit of a wheel on the grass, but Kiswato's still going to have the advantage here, I think. He's going to ride on board with him, and he's going to walk past. Look at that. Look at that difference, and he's going to clear him again into Lakecom as Deer Hunter's out.
He retired
Deer Hunter's been... Oh, he's...
Yep,
yeah, he has retired in the pits.
He's decided after that spin at Puon, he's decided he's had enough.
Yeah, he's seen no reason to continue. That's going to promote SF1 Rhodes into 15th and Unknown Ute into 16th. So that's 4 retirements so far. ARS Science for McLaren. He binned it in the Fania chicane behind while it's stuck in the dirty air fin fan. Not Yell F1 binned it on his own at the top of Radion corner. And BRL Phantom, he crashed on the exit of Stavolo while chasing down one of the Alfa Romeos. I believe it was Rhodes. And Deer Hunter now retiring in the pit lane, seeing no reason to continue after his spin in Puon. And there's another yellow flag. It's Joe.
Yeah, it's Joe, yeah.
Joe's going very slowly.
Actually, no, that was
very
not
slowly
Joe. That was not Joe. That was Deer. His car decided he's going to continue a little bit more. Sometimes
Weird.
the car...
I saw a white dot.
I
saw a white dot in
Deer.
Radion.
That was Deer. Sometimes if you retire late into the pit lane, it would go out onto the track again. That's what that was.
Yeah, that's really weird. Yeah, Joe seems to be losing a few tenths a lap to Kiswato now, so we'll flip away from them and over towards the front again. Brownbeaner is still harassing Boss Cookie after all this time. Ham Newton in chat saying, yo, I'm about to do some Hungary practice. Very nice. Hungary is a track that I'm league racing at this weekend as well, so yeah, a lot of leagues getting to that midpoint of the season now.
You know what?
They've been going for
we
about
might
3
want
months.
to jump back to the Joe and Kiswato because there could be a move coming here.
Oh yes, on the Kemmel Straight, Joe's got DRS now.
Yeah, that Williams just has so
behind.
much straight line speed on the Alfa Romeo that it makes it easy.
They're both out of DRS now. They've both got less than 10%, and Joe has walked by. Look at that, cleared him into Lakecom. And Us Formula has gained nothing on Ritzy Raccoon in these last couple of laps. So I think Ritzy could hold on here for P10. Could you check the penalties, actually, for Ritzy and Us Formula? Yeah, those affected, because if Ritzy has one more penalty, he could lose that points-paying position yet.
Ritzy only has 1 warning. Us Formula also only has 1 warning, so they have both been keeping it fairly clean this race.
Yeah, they've been very kind to the track limits, clearly. They have not incurred the wrath of the stewarding panel of this game, which is sometimes pretty dumb, I'm not going to lie. Some of the penalties this game gives out on the safety car are ludicrous, but anyway, there have been no full safety cars today, so we'll just keep it on the topic of these battles between Brownbeaner and Boss Cookie especially. They're still going at it for 6th and 7th. And this is not a good day in the championship for Boss Cookie. 6th place is not the kind of result that he needs to keep 3rd in the championship. And let me just flip over to the driver standings here. Let me see. Yeah, New Zealand Ryan. Actually, no one's within range to overtake Boss Cookie in the standings right now. We're just going to lose ground to Clan and Burraps. So I retract my previous statement. He won't really lose any ground effectively, but yeah, he's still going to lose some points here. Maybe he might come away from this race thinking it was a missed opportunity. Just being harassed by the AlphaTaurs and letting the likes of the Mercedes and the Red Bull get away.
You know, it's something to note, as I expect the Alfa Romeo to go back past the Williams again, is Burraps is within 3 seconds of Taylor, and they're both on 2 warnings. But if Taylor gets another warning, that would be a penalty, and if Burraps keep it clean, that would be Burraps' win. Of course, this is just all hopeful thinking at this point, with only 2.5 laps to go. But you never know.
Taylor could make a mistake, though.
Yeah, Taylor can make a mistake at any point.
If Burraps puts the pressure on, or if Taylor just pushes it a bit too hard on worn tires, all of that hard work through the course of this race and qualifying could be undone.
And I'm sure
Very good
Taylor
point that you
is
bring up.
aware of the situation he's in, but never know.
Yeah, he does seem to be backing off a bit. Perhaps he's gaining a couple of tenths on him here and there, but not enough to catch him on track, I don't think.
Yeah,
Unless there's a
no.
really major mistake that occurs. Twitch chat, Exia, BRL Exia saying, let's go Renault. Yeah, Renault currently in the last 2 points paying positions at the moment, but that could be under attack from Os Formula. Actually, Os Formula's gained a lot more ground on Ritzy now. I think Ritzy's tires might have fallen off the cliff because he's gained about a second on him. As Unknown You gets time come over here at the back of the field. Maverick putting a couple of resident sleepers in the chat. Yeah, we are. The race is calming down a little bit in these closing stages, unfortunately, but we've still got a couple of good battles to watch. Mainly Beaner and Cookie and Joe and Kizwato.
Yeah.
And Os Formula and Ritzy Raccoon could come alive here right at the end.
And judging by the last few laps, I think it's quite easy to assume that they're being overtaken on the camera straight again. I'd like to see them go side by side through a few corners, but with just how powerful that DRS is, they just clear each other so easily.
Yeah, the thing is, though, the Ferrari is just so weak on the straights now that it might be a lot harder for him.
Yeah.
Unless he's just running less downforce in the setup or he's saving his ERS more. And as you mentioned in qualifying, the Ferrari is really not very good at saving its ERS anymore. That's one of the main nerfs that Codemasters put on the car.
But they are... Oh. Joe's plan is tactically, he knows that if he overtook there, that means he would have been overtaken on the next lap, because he definitely lifted off there, turned out his ERS or something. Because he was going to fly past him, and instead he just chose to stay behind.
Yeah, I haven't been watching that battle, but it looks like they're getting very close in Rivaz. Yeah, I've been watching Brown Beaner and Boss Cookie, but this is not done yet. Joe deploying overtake between No Name and Pool, maybe trying to set up a move into the Fanya chicane, but I don't think it's going to happen. The Alfa Romeo is a better car in the twisty bits. So Joe may be deploying some overtake just to keep up.
Joe doesn't intend to overtake at all until the camel straight. As he knows that's going to...
Ooh, he goes wide. Joe's lost it. He's almost lost the rear end there out of the Fanya chicane. He took a lot of curb on the exit.
He's going to dump.
And he's lost a lot of time. If
Kizwato went wide there out of that corner, he almost...
Yeah, I was going to say if Kizwato dumps his ERS now, he could get out of DRS range, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
I know, they both dumped the ERS. So now if Joe played that move to not overtake, this may backfire.
Actually, there's going to be battle for 8th. Meanford has caught up to Zizou. He's in DRS range now down the Kemmel Straight. This could be a battle here. We've got a third on-track battle where one driver is within DRS range of another.
Now this will be interesting.
Oh, he's going to go very deep. Meanford just went super deep into Lake Common. He's got... Yeah, he has to cut the chicane. That's going to be a
something that's going to be
warning
interesting here is Kizwato and Joe, because Kizwato, he has so much more ERS, but Joe's done the slipstream DRS, so they might be going side by side into the corner.
I wonder, Kizwato doesn't have that much more ERS. He only had about 20%. That's not that much to defend.
Yeah,
I think Joe's going to be clear of him.
They might go side by side here.
Oh, never mind.
Nobody lets him go.
Oh, he is clear. He is clear.
Hey,
yeah, I think Kizwato knew that was an accident. That was an accident waiting to happen. That's good judgment from Kizwato.
Yeah, perhaps really pushed on that last lap.
Yeah, he's at the fastest lap on the final lap. So Barrett pulls a Verstappen and just yoinks the fastest lap out from under the Mercedes driver who won. But Taylor Clan, in a dominant performance, he got pole position. He led almost every lap.
Yeah, he was uncontested that race. Uncontested.
Yeah, really amazing race, and that should expand his lead in the championship by an additional 7 points, and that is going to expand his margin to 35 points in the championship.
Now this bout between Joe and Kizwato is not done yet.
Let's go back to it then. It's the last battle on the track. Joe is ahead, but Kizwato is going to dump his ERS here. He doesn't have much to dump. He doesn't need any more of it after this lap.
Slipstream is just not powerful enough for that Ferrari.
Os Formula is not going to snag the final points position from Ritzy Raccoon. So Renault is getting a nice batch of points here.
Ooh, he goes for a switchback.
Switchback side by side. Oh, drag race.
By just 0.06 of a second.
If the finish line had been in the same place as the starting line there, Joe would have been absolutely screwed. That was close.
Yeah, because Kizwato made a good switchback there, but just not enough time before the line.
Yeah, here is your finishing order as we just wait for SF1 Rhodes to come across the line now in the second Alfa Romeo. He's going to finish P15 just ahead of Unknown Ute. zigzagging across the line, celebrating his P15 finish. To be fair, he did gain, I believe it was 4 positions during the race, so it's not too bad from him. Although there were 4 retirements. Coincidence? I think not. Haas Formula driver of the day, starting 15th he did, and he got up to 11th. And he did have that accident at the start of the race, so props to him. He did do a decent job to haul that car almost back up into the points. And here's our podium celebration. Taylor Clan in the Mercedes suit on the top step, front and center. Championship leader, race winner. What more does he want right now? Maybe the fastest lap, but perhaps just pushed so hard on that last lap to get it. So he certainly deserves it. I think it was a 41.9 that perhaps did.
I can go ahead and get
something
the
like that.
podium sitters into the party, and we can do the podium interviews if you want me to do that.
Yeah, you do that. New Zealand Ryan as well with an excellent performance. It must be said, from 10th place, somewhat botched Q3, up to P3. I would say he's my driver of the day, honestly. He was really going at it. I didn't think that late pit stop would work, but it has. It has very much so. Taylor Clan, tick your box. New Zealand Ryan, tick your box. You know the drill. We're just waiting to get Burraps in here now.
And there he is.
And there is Burraps. Burraps joins, tick your box. You know the drill, and Chandler will be doing the interviews.
Yeah, so we'll start off with man Ryan. I should not have said that. Okay. So P3 then, pretty much best of the rest. No one else you could really overtake there. How was that race then?
Yeah, pretty good. I knew obviously the top 2 were not gonna be in my race, so stayed out as long as possible on the softs to give me a bit of a pace advantage on the guys behind. So yeah.
Yeah, and with quali, were you expecting to be able to move up multiple positions up to even P3 at the end, of course? Were you expecting to be able to do that after validating that running quali then?
I don't know. I was hoping for a top 5 after qualifying, but managed to get through the pack pretty quickly. So.
Yeah, so you got a little bit more than that top 5 then. Well, that was a good race for you then. Best you could achieve there, so I'd say that was a good race then.
Yeah. Much. Cheers.
Alright, we're gonna move on to Braps then.
Hello, Chandler.
P2 then. Yep, P2 then. Do you think you could have challenged Taylor there? Because you set the fast lap of the race there, of course you must have used a lot of ERS. But judging by that last lap, do you think maybe you could have challenged Taylor a little bit more there? Because you never really fell away from him. You just seemed to never have the pace to catch up to him. But do you think maybe you had the pace?
No, to be completely honest. I was doing some pretty good laps for most of the second stint of the race. I didn't think Taylor was pushing too hard. I'm guessing he was trying to avoid getting a penalty, which makes sense. And yeah, I knew at the end that I would just kind of send it because it didn't matter on penalties. I wanted to go for fastest lap, but at the end of the day, Taylor had that one in the bag from turn 1, so well done to him.
Yeah, we were noticing while watching the last few laps that you were within 3 seconds and you were both on 2 warnings, so there was always that possibility that Taylor could get that last warning, so just know that you were noticing that. With that then, do you think you're still in the championship fight? Do you think that's still a possibility? Or do you think it's kind of slipping away due to the pace advantage of Taylor's Mercedes? Do you think it's still there, or what?
I absolutely think I'm still in the championship fight. I mean, 6 points at the end of the day. It's 6 points. I can't do anything about him winning the race. But bar Italy, there are a lot of good tracks coming up for the Red Bull, and I think we'll still have a good chance of going for the driver's title. But constructors is what we're aiming for this season anyway. So we're going to do our best to bring it home for the team.
Yeah, I definitely think both championships are still there. But then, yeah, P2 then, a good race for the car you had. Italy might be a little tougher. What do you think about that? Of course, you kind of hinted at it there, but do you think there's a chance of a win, or do you think it's just going to be another saving a P2 there?
I think Monza's going to be a big challenge. The only benefit there is that it's pretty much a DRS drain from lap 1. We'll see if that plays true next Thursday, but there's always a chance to get the win, so we'll go for that.
All right, then. That is Baraps then. Let's move on to Taylor then. Another race win then, another pole position. Looked like a pretty easy qualifying, judging by the pace you had there, and then you led pretty much every single lap that you could have. Talk us through that race then. What were you thinking throughout that race?
Qualifying, I knew that lap was going to be good, but I didn't expect it to be a mid 41. From there, kind of just keep my head down, and I wanted to stay out of penalty trouble the best I could, but by the time I got to lap 9, I was on 2 warnings. And then I heard Baraps had nothing by lap 10, again, no warnings. So then, coming up to the last 3 laps, whenever Deere and them told me that he had 2 warnings, I was like, okay, he has to come to me if he wants to have a chance to win this. So, kind of just started to try and back off the best I could, minimize the penalty, which I surprisingly did. Yeah, good race overall.
Yeah, you played that race to near perfection. You just missed out on that fast lap as Baraps went for it. But how does this look for your championship? Do you think this is going to continue into the next race and the races after this form?
Next week it's kind of, if I'm on pole, I've got to try and break gears as soon as possible. I can do that, then maybe there's a chance, but obviously another track that you can get brutalized by penalties, there's cars, so yeah.
Yeah, so you just hinted there again that breaking DRS is going to be the key for Italy. And if you can't do that, then do you think it'll be a fight with Baraps, or do you think it's going to be just you pulling him along? Of course, that Red Bull is just not the greatest in a straight line compared to the Mercedes.
I guess it comes down to battery percentages at that point. Yeah, if he's dumping his battery, he can definitely get by me. But it's just, yeah, I've got to do what I can next week. If I am in the front, try and pull DRS, but obviously if I can't, then it'll probably be a back and forth battle.
All right, then. Well, that was a good race for you then. All right, that was your podium sitters. I'll give it back to you, Flanders, to rough up the stream.
Yes, thank you very much, Chandler. Of course, our podium finishers are now dismissed. Congratulations to all of them. Quick update, we've already got a stewards inquiry filed here against Not-Yell F1 and the Ferrari. It was filed by BRL Phantom. Recent development here. Of course, both of them retired from the race, and Phantom was complaining about Not-Yell's connection, so that could turn into a penalty for Not-Yell at Monza, or maybe even a ban if his internet continues to cause problems. So we'll have to monitor that situation in the coming weeks. But until then, I'll be signing off. Our next stream is not until Friday, when we'll be doing F1 Tier 5 on Xbox at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Then don't forget to tune in on Saturday for F1 Tier 2 on Xbox at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And then Tier 1, Best of the Best, going at it at 10 p.m. Eastern. That group includes New Zealand Ryan, who just left, among others. So yeah, this has been a great race. Congratulations to our podium finishers again. And this is myself and Chandler signing off today. Hope you've all enjoyed it.